Now serving your entree of sports and entertainment, the triple shot of Marcus returns. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fish and Grits for the Culture. March 27, 2018. How's it going for you, fellas?
It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful. Actually, no, it ain't no beautiful day. It's raining.
Little rain going
They
on.
talking about it's supposed to thunderstorm tomorrow. I say, damn, I ain't about to get out the house.
Oh man, I feel you on that. I know. Oh man, I ain't even thinking about the thunderstorm. I may need to close down shop tomorrow.
Exactly, man. You better get your chill on.
How you doing over there, Will?
Man, I can't complain, man. My Jayhawks is going to San Antonio this weekend, Rock Chalk.
They did they
So
thing.
I'm feeling good, man. I like their chances. They're definitely surprising me.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. And we're joined by a former guest that we had in the past, my man BG, Brad Gilmore. How you doing today, bro?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy to be back. Short story. I just went down the block to my local snow cone stand, and I asked them if they could do me up like Takashi 6ix9ine, but to no avail. I'm back like I am. So, what's going on, guys?
Uh,
Oh, that's
It was,
funny.
it was worth a try, Brad. That's all you can do, bro. Man,
No, hey, glad to be back.
what you been getting into lately, man? You still on? I know you still on the heated conversation. I still be catching y'all boys on Saturday. That's my thing right there. But how's the reality of wrestling going?
Hey, man, everything's been going great, dude. We just announced last Saturday that on April the 14th in Texas City, Texas, at the World Gym Arena, we're going to be bringing our first reality wrestling pay-per-view special exclusively on Fight TV. It's going to be called The Last Stand, and it's going to feature the 20-man Last Stand match, which is similar to that of the Royal Rumble.
Nice.
And there's going to be all kinds of special guests coming through. One guy, I'm waiting on the news to drop. As we're taping this, news is going to be dropping. So I'll have to break in about who our first big announcement is going to be for that match. But everything's been going great with that, man. Me and Book, obviously, rocking it with heated conversations, going out to New Orleans, Louisiana next week for WrestleMania. Going to be doing some stuff from Radio Row over there. So it's all good, man.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Hope you enjoy yourself. How long you gonna be out there? For the whole
Man, you
weekend?
know what? I don't know. Here's the thing. I was in Vegas not too long ago, and I took my girlfriend with me, which I do not regret. I loved having her there, but she scares me a little bit, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you, because she was really mean on those crap tables, and I gave her that nice little hundo. I come back 20 minutes later, it's all gone, and now she's like, "Hey, can I come to New Orleans? Gambling's legal there, right?" And I'm like, you know what? You might need to slow your roll a little bit. You might need to slow your roll. But I'm going to be out there for a couple of days, man. And I'm just going to take in the sights. I love New Orleans. It's a second home to me. So, I'm going to hit up Cafe Du Monde, and I'm going to have a good time.
All right, that's what's up, man. And then recently we just had a little news pop off. Griff, you want to go ahead and read down the list that we're gonna be spitting out today?
Oh, it's some beautiful entertainment news going on. But the first one that's going to always pop off is Jeezy announcing that he's going to retire after the next album that he drops. I don't know about y'all boys, but it made me think to myself, do rappers really retire? And when he came out and said that, I was like, do rappers really retire? Or do y'all just try to fake and lie that y'all about to retire? Because Jay-Z retired like twice.
I mean, they always throw like a little feature up in there, or a little hook or something. They always throwing a little something extra up in there. So I don't think nobody actually retires, you know?
Because he said he's retiring, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. It's like I don't think Jeezy, he hasn't been, I guess, popping it lately. So I don't know if it's a PR stunt, for him, because he got the new album, the next album coming out. So I don't know if that's going to garner a whole bunch of people starting to check and see what Jeezy up to. But me personally, I don't think he's going to retire. But he says he is. But I think that's pretty big news. And just to think that one of the people that we grew up with is calling it quits, it just means that it's ushering out the old and bringing in the new.
Unless unless they come out with a union that I didn't know about and they have a pension plan established, I never believe any rapper when they say they retired.
I agree.
I'm with you, bro. But what do y'all
I
think Big
agree.
done for the game? Like, what would y'all actually remember him for, like creating or establishing or just putting his foot?
Top five ad libber ever in hip hop.
Okay.
Top five ad libber of all time in hip hop.
Oh, ad lib. I thought you said top five ever. I'm like, man.
No,
you-
that's what I said too. That's what I was.
No.
No, top
Ad lib.
five ad libber. He might top five, top two, and he's not two. I mean, Cheesy had the greatest. I mean, he's got the greatest ad libs of all
Yeah.
time. his ad libs were so great. Kanye's like, man, I gotta grab those things and throw them on Can't Tell Me Nothing. I mean, I think he's the first rapper ever where his ad libs were sampled.
Chill. Hey. That laugh.
The haha was so cold.
I'm with you.
So cold on that. But I think Jeezy, man, he's going to be remembered also for, I mean, obviously, Trap or Die. And then you got to talk about, 103, 101, 102, 103. There's so many classic Jeezy records, too, that you don't even know.
My President's Black.
President's Black, obviously. I've never saw his Lambo, but I'm assuming that it's blue. But yeah, as far as though, the one thing that I always thought about Jeezy, which was always cool, Jeezy holds a space in the game kind of like Trey the Truth, where like they're plugged in with everybody and everybody will do a feature for them, right? Mm-hmm. And I always thought it was crazy how Jeezy would pull off these crazy collaborations, like when he had Andre and Jay on that I Do record on 103, I think, or TM 103. And then this last record he had Kendrick and Cole
with
on
Kendrick,
one record.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kendrick was singing a little bit. I think J. Cole might have shook him with that verse.
Yeah, man. Cole was dropping that heat on that verse. That verse kind of got me hyped up for anything that J. Cole about to drop, if anything, because I don't know, Kendrick was kind of bullshitting on that verse.
Yeah, I mean, Kendrick's obviously one of the greatest in the game right now, and he's going to have his place in history. But J. Cole really, he spiced that one up. He's like, I'm going in the cupboard. I'm pulling out every spice possible. I'm putting some paprika on it, some cayenne. I'm putting everything on this verse because Kendrick's going to be on it. And then Kendrick did his little singing stuff. But I think that's what's interesting about Jeezy is just he holds that spot in the game where he always pulls off these awesome features. Even when you think about Put On with Kanye and then Jay hop
I
on
love
the remix,
that record.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, he's got a crazy catalog. And if he does call it quits, I'm with Will there. No rapper retires until they establish that union or that pension plan,
I mean,
or they have like a nice 401k.
Yeah, don't feed me that line. I'm retiring. What are you retiring from? It's nothing that's unionized. It's nothing that has a pension plan.
I don't know. I mean, what Jeezy's like? Is it because like maybe like I don't know his sales they're not going through the roof. No one's are really. But I'm saying like I don't know if people are just out here like, man, I can't wait for that Jeezy album because this last one I just wasn't super impressed with. Shout out my guy DJ Kaz. My guy DJ Kaz got a record on there. He produced a record on there, but I just wasn't. I love Young Jeezy, but it's just it didn't. He didn't come with it.
My whole thing was with Jeezy was he didn't change with the. I don't know, something like with T.I., he had that whole trap phase going. Same with Jeezy, but he didn't change with the times. And what I mean by changing with the times, there was nothing that he had that kind of sold you on his lyricism, or he never caught you with the nice catchy records or something like that. It was always after what was that My President's Black wave died off. It was kind of he just fell off, and in my opinion, he still made decent music, but nothing that the masses were trying to run and go listen to. Me personally, honestly, I think Freddie Gibbs outpaced him, and that was his apprentice. In my opinion, but not a lot of people, not enough people jam Freddie Gibbs. But hey, it is what it is. But it's gonna be sad to see you go if he is gonna roll out of here. But I hope he stays and he still tries to do features every now and then. Because Jeezy to me was a better. I know a lot of people like the solo projects. I personally thought Jeezy was at his best when he was a feature and he didn't have to carry a whole song by himself. And that's when I thought he flourished, in my opinion.
No doubt, man. But what about somebody else leaving? We may have Chris Evans leaving as Cap.
Bye.
Oh, Marcus called it, man. Marcus called that bullshit, man.
Bye.
I kind of got. What say it, Marcus?
You say bye.
I was just saying bye.
Me personally, it's really he been talking about this damn near since what Captain America 2 that he's been wanting to go out there and direct and do his own thing. I guess he's tired of the Marvel wave. Me personally, I can never get tired of a Marvel chick, so I don't know what's going on. But it's gonna be sad to see him go, and they're probably gonna replace him with Bucky, like me and Marcus always said. But it's gonna be interesting to see what route Marvel takes and how he's gonna get killed off in Infinity War.
Well, the thing about it, if they go by the source material, they have two strong possibilities that they can work with, depending on how they work things out with Infinity War. You can go with Captain Barnes, Winter Soldier, and have him take on the mantle, or you can go like they did in the comic books, and you can have Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, take over as Captain America. And off the strength of what they just did with the Black Panther, I would not be surprised at all if Anthony Mackie took on that.
Man, I hope not. I hope not. I'll debate that one. I do not like Anthony Mackie. He's a good actor. He's a good supporting actor, but can he carry just say they were going to do a Captain America 4 or something like that. Can he carry that? I don't know. Anthony Mackie is not the strongest at acting in my
Well,
opinion.
the other part about that though is I think that after Chris Pine is done, I really don't see where they would have the need necessarily to do any more solo Captain America films. I think the Captain America would just be squarely tied into the Avengers as a ensemble piece. I really don't see that it would like really necessitate, depending on what they do storyline wise, because if you look at what's going on in current storylines and stuff like that, Captain America isn't very prevalent. So there's really not that big, huge need like it was in the past when you had him as one of your, three main front runners with your Avengers, your Iron Man, your Captain America, your Thor, et cetera, et cetera. You don't need them to push that Marvel money machine now. You can go through and you can diversify your efforts. You can take more chances now because you have an established brand and an established product that people are actually willing to buy into more off curiosity for what they don't usually see than what it is that they usually expect.
Did y'all, now that we're talking about Chris Evans, have y'all seen any of his movies outside of the Marvel franchise?
Trash.
Fantastic.
Oh.
Fantastic Four. He said trash.
What was it? Push? Wasn't he in that movie?
Yeah, he was in that Push movie. The only reason why I bring that up is,
movie.
did y'all ever see Not Enough? That's what I was gonna say, man. Not Enough Teen movie was on the other day, and I can never look at him the same because he had a banana split and he had that banana up his ass. I was like, what the fuck's going on here?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Y'all talk about Anthony Mackie taking over for Cap. Although I like the idea of Falcon taking over for Cap more than I do Winter Soldier, I can never look at Anthony Mackie and not think of the line, this guy's a gangster, his real name's Clarence, and Clarence was
Exactly.
And Clarence's parents really had a good bitch marriage.
He's Papa Doc for life. Hashtag
For life.
Papa Doc for life.
Boom. Every time I hear the shook ones.
Papa Doc and
Shook one.
Tupac. That's all he is.
Free world. 313. Fuck free world.
Exactly.
Well, what about Deadpool? Y'all excited for that one too?
Hey, I'm super excited for Deadpool. Just a simple fact. It looked like there's going to be a storyline that's going to go on this. And it's going to be interesting to see my boy Terry Crews is on there. It's going to be interesting to see the black actress that plays on Atlanta, see what she does in that role and what they're going to do with the X-Force. But it's going to be nice to see just Deadpool in action. The action looks like the top of the line. And then Josh Brolin, killing it once again.
Oh, yeah.
Man, Thanos, and now he's Cable.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers
And
out
he was,
here.
and what was he? Wasn't he Jonah Hex? You remember he was Jonah Hex?
He was Jonah Hex.
He got
was
another
President
movie
George
coming out.
W. Bush.
He got another movie.
Oh, he was
played
W.
Every role. He was played every role. ever.
Sicario. He's playing on Sicario too.
Yeah. He got
Josh-
man. He killing it.
Hey man, he getting that check. He's securing the bag in 2018.
Man, from all accounts, I need it.
I need to ride it, but Deadpool looks live. I don't know, Marcus. You looking forward to it?
I have mixed emotions about it, and don't get me wrong, it's from a different angle. I'm excited to see the movie. I'm excited to see how it branches out, how they use Cable and how they use the X-Force as it pertains to future storylines and stuff like that. But I never really can get into Deadpool because, unfortunately, the thing that makes it so great is the thing that I dislike the most, and that's the fact that I really can't take it seriously. It's like pure comedy. It's like connected to what they do as far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe goes and stuff like that. I mean, it's great when you go out with the boys, y'all have a couple of beers, and you want to see something that's funny, it's got some good action and stuff like that. But the comic geek in me, I mean, I can take it or leave it. It's okay.
But here's the thing. What's going to be interesting is to see what happens over this next 12 months because Disney is in the process of acquiring Fox 26, which has the rights to Fantastic Four, Deadpool, and others. So it would be interesting. We're living in a universe right now where we could see Deadpool enter the House of Mouse and be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which would be crazy to me. I don't know if he could stay rated R, when you're working with Disney, but it would be nuts to see Deadpool and even like Wolverine step out or whomever else,
And did y'all see?
Fox. Yeah.
And did y'all see that? What's that? New Mutants and the Dark Phoenix movie got pushed back until next year. They were supposed to come out this year, but they pushed them back. So they say they do it for reshoots. I mean, me personally, I don't know if Marvel's trying to test the waters and they try to scrap those movies. Who could say? Honestly.
Well, Disney's
they shouldn't
coming
scrap
out
them.
with that. No, they shouldn't scrap them because Disney's coming out with that streaming service next year. They're going to have their own version of Netflix, and they're going to need content for it. And if this sale goes through with Fox 26, man, hey, you want to see the new Mutants movie, or do you want to see the new X-Men movie exclusively on our streaming service?
Oh,
Like,
man.
what way to big that thing up?
Or
God.
even more to the point, I would much rather see a New Mutant series like The Defenders than to see an actual New Mutants movie, because I think that there's way too much that you can put out storyline wise that you can fit in a 2.5 hour movie.
You know, I'm a proponent. You know, we've been talking about that from jump, that we've been wanting the X-Men series to go pop off on Netflix or something.
Oh, that would be so dope.
Oh yeah.
I just think I need that. I think we all need that in our life. We all need a little bit of blood and gore on Netflix, a little bit more.
Y'all
go along with the
Deadpool. If this sale goes through, though, do you think that, like, or I know Logan was supposed to be the last stand for Hugh Jackman, but do you think, though, if the X-Men come under the Disney umbrella, would there ever be a chance of seeing Hugh Jackman put the claws on one more time? And
I don't think so. Just because I don't think so, because it's probably going to confuse people. Same with the Spider-Man, they got rid of Andrew Garfield when they pseudo acquired Spider-Man to be in the universe, so they probably gonna recast Hugh Jackman. If anything, they will do some type of fan service and have him as a cameo, a la maybe what's his name, Stan Lee or something like that. He may have a cameo or some shit like that. He may say some slick ass shit. They bump into this guy in the street or something like that. But I don't think they're gonna keep him as Wolverine. They're gonna recast him.
Yeah, I think
it'd be crazy to see him like walk on the screen with Robert Downey Jr. Go ahead, my bad.
No, you're good. I was saying, I think that moving forward, if Disney goes through and they reclaim those titles and those properties and stuff like that, they'll recast Wolverine. A, because they want to give it a fresh start and be able to have more flexibility as far as what they can do storyline wise, and B, because I think that they're just going to go for a younger face for the franchise. Period.
I agree, but it's gonna be interesting to see what Marvel's gonna do with the second half, or what the next phase 4 or whatnot, and see if they're gonna include the X-Men, include Fantastic Four, which is gonna be the new big bad that they're gonna have after Thanos. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Marvel, as of right now, Disney is not hurting for anything
at all.
The bag has been secured for Disney.
Man,
yeah, for life, forever.
Hell yeah, you got what do you got? Star Wars, you got Marvel. What else Disney got?
Indiana. They got everything. Like anything.
They sure do got Indiana Jones. Fuck. They're gonna have Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, the only thing they're lacking on is ESPN's the only thing not bringing in money anymore. Everything else, Disney's like, I got this on lock. I mean, and now they're remaking all their they have Pixar, so they're remaking all of their classic animated films into live action movies, like The Lion King that we know is coming up. And they did it with Jungle Book and Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast. They're doing an Aladdin movie. They're going to make money for as long as there is money on this earth.
Oh, man. They need to hire, and they didn't go ahead and hire me and Wilson so we can write that phase 4 for them boys.
Avengers versus X-Men 2020. I called it first.
Yes, sir. We need that bag to be secured.
And Griff, what's the latest record that Black Panther has achieved?
Oh, man. So it's achieved 2 records. One, it's now the highest grossing superhero film in the U.S., and now it's also the highest grossing solo film for a Marvel character, just behind, I think, the worldwide behind Avengers 1 and 2. So that's pretty awesome that Black Panther is still killing it on the box office. It's still amazing that Black Panther is still in the top 10 right now, honestly, of just not top 10, top 5 of people still going to the theater and still want to check it out and still going with the repeat viewings. But man, we called it. We knew it was going to be a phenomenon, but honestly, I didn't see it being this huge. I'm gonna have to be honest with you.
I did.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Like, I saw Black Panther, the Thursday night showing, and I'm like, man, that movie was incredible. I had no idea though that it would do, what it did is in terms of box office. I thought that it was going to be pretty high up there, and I think there's a number of factors. One, the movie was incredible. Two, it's coming off. It's going into rather Avengers Infinity War, and I think all the Marvel sweaties are out there being like, man, this is the last movie before Infinity War, and then you see that movie and it's so incredible. You're like, man, I got to go back and watch it again. But I did not see it being the highest grossing superhero film of all time in the United States. I mean, you got to think about this. You have movies out there with known characters like Superman, Spider-Man, the X-Men, Iron Man to a certain extent, Batman. And it squashed them all. It washed every single one of them. And that's, to me, I don't think any. I know people thought it was going to be big. I don't think anybody thought it was going to be this big.
And there's only 2 people I know of that predicted that. One name is Marcus Wilson, and another is named Marcus Griffin. We called that shit. That was the only thing that we called. We called it was gonna make $1 billion. We said it was gonna make 200 million opening weekend, and then we said it was gonna pass up Avengers as the highest. Now that worldwide gross, I didn't think he was gonna kill it on the overseas. Honestly, I didn't think that was gonna resonate with a lot of the audience overseas with the whole black culture and stuff like that. But it's awesome to see that it's still making its money. I know China, it hasn't been well received in China, but it's awesome just to see that it's still killing overseas and it's still in the top 5 of grossing movies overseas.
Yeah, well, China's a weird market. I don't think people have figured out how to do a movie in China because you can't show anything that has like paranormal stuff in it. Like you can't show ghosts in movies over there in China. And they have all kinds of weird things. Like in Iron Man, I think it was Iron Man 2, there's this whole other subplot in the movie that's about this Chinese surgeon. Y'all know about this?
Nah, because I personally dislike Iron Man 2, so
There's
please inform me.
Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3. I can't remember which one it is, but it's like...
I think it's Iron Man 3 probably.
Yeah, there's a whole subplot about this Chinese surgeon that's all inserted throughout the movie. And, you know, it's just for China. And so they have a bunch of weird stuff over there that I don't think anyone's been able to tap into that market like they should. I mean, there's 1 billion people in that country. And, and you would think movies would do better, especially, you know, movies like The Avengers or whatever else would do better in China. But a lot of times they don't translate.
You know what's crazy is in from the Chinese. I love how you said you talk about the Chinese dollar. Think about this. There's 3 movies I think that are in the top. I want to say the top grossing film worldwide this year for a Chinese movie. They have 3 of the movies that's in that top grossing. I forgot. I don't know how to pronounce any of the movies.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that on Box Office Mojo. Yeah,
I thought that was pretty. I think that was pretty amazing. Just that their dollars alone can generate a $600 million movie, and you know, to getting that worldwide gross. Well, that's pretty awesome. So you know, a lot of these.
We're in the city of Houston. We know how this works. Like, you know, guys like ESG or Slim or Killer Calione. These guys have sold millions of copies of their albums just in the city alone, right? Because the city's so massive. So when you multiply that to 1 billion, and you know, I mean, it's a whole population going out there to see their movie. I mean, that's you can make your entire living just in China. Yeah, you know, just like a lot of these guys made in Houston.
Man, we're in the wrong business, man. We gotta go get some Chinese dollars. We gotta get our bag up.
Some yang. I feel you. But man, what else y'all been catching on TV recently?
Me personally, you know, I'm gonna go always ride the wave of Grownish, which is killing it. Grownish, I swear, I think Grownish is one of the most underrated and underappreciated shows on TV right now. The content that they dive into is really fucking personal. If you think Blackish is really personal and it deals with a lot of the black tropes and, you know, black societies, black stereotypes and things of that nature, Grownish deals into like the youth movement, what you struggle with in college, and man, it hits home, and it's an awesome show, and I can't say it enough how many people they need to be checking out that show. Okay, so I've just been watching that and love. I've been watching that and Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. That's about it, really. Well, waiting until on Sunday, Westworld returns, so I'm gonna be really hyped up about that.
Okay, and what you over there catching, Will? What you streaming?
For me, well, I always stay on my CW stuff because I'm a comic geek like that. Black Lightning is still destroying it. People don't want to pay attention, but they will eventually. They'll come around to it. They'll grow a brain. Fantastic writing, fantastic acting, good storyline. Streaming, just checked out the Roxanne movie, which I thought was extraordinary. It's extraordinary. It's a great coming of age tale. It dives into, contrary to what most people may have thought, doesn't really talk a whole lot about what she does in rap. It's part of it, but it just literally talks about the trials and tribulations that she went through coming up as a 16-year-old. Embracing this fame and some of the trappings that come with it, some of the things that she's had to deal with personal relationships, both with family and with, you know, significant others, stuff like that. So really, it's really, really good.
How is Neil Long?
To everybody.
How's Neil Long in that movie? That's the question I really want to know.
Did an extraordinary job.
Okay.
She did an extraordinary job.
Now, is this
'Cause I know
about
she did an
Roxanne? Is
extraordinary.
this about Roxanne Shante?
Yes, this is a biopic movie about Roxanne Shante, literally at the time when she first comes up, starting to do her rap thing,
Her real Roxanne
still staying in the
stuff?
projects with moms. You know, it's got the Marley Marl references. You see a cameo from a young Nas, you know,
Mm.
all points in between. But it's really, 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 really strong movie. Really good movie.
Okay, no,
Damn.
no.
I need to check that out. Now that you gave it that glowing review, I'm gonna have to go check that out because I heard you talking about it on the page, I believe. I just didn't check it out. I've been kind of not watching enough TV shows, but I need to get back on my TV. I've been catching up on movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I really liked about it is the fact that what I was expecting wasn't what I got, and it was in a good way because again, I was thinking, you know, oh, they're gonna talk about, you know, Roxanne, you know, she comes up, she has a little beef with UTFO, makes a name for herself, you know, first lady of hip hop, really coming out of Queens, yada yada yada. But it's really not more about the music than it is about the woman herself. And she's very significant in the world of hip hop for a lot of people that don't know her because her name really doesn't come up that often recently and stuff like that. But to me, she pulled off one of the smartest record deals that I could ever think of. And the fact that she had it written into the language of her contract with her record label that to this day, if she ever wanted to go to school for anything, they pay for it. She literally has like a doctorate from what I know. And she got it for free. Like the record label still pays her to go to school.
Damn, that's live.
She fleeced them boys. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking
I need somebody to pay for my grad school education.
Man, with the way that education costs right now, that's one of the smartest deals that I've ever heard of.
Damn. A real deal.
Hey, get your knowledge and get your bag.
Real. Anything you been catching on it too, Brad? Like anything that
Yeah, you know, so y'all might hate me for this. I just watched the All Eyes on Me movie. Like
I still haven't
first
seen it.
time. Okay, so I'm not alone. And you know what? I heard a lot of negative, feedback about it, and that the movie didn't hold up. I'm not mad at it. It actually, I mean, the guy playing Pac had his moments where he was real good, and you know, times where I didn't believe him. But I liked the movie overall. You know, the one thing though, it's like they try to make you believe, and this isn't a spoiler, but they try to make you believe that he did two of America's Most Wanted, California Love, and Ambitions as a Writer all in one night, like within like 30 minutes of each other. But like aside from that,
Fresh out of jail.
Dropping these number one
Drop
hits.
these bars. Yeah, they got me way done.
California Love. He just like walked in the studio.
Yeah,
and
studio
then he just
to
starts
studio.
rapping. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? This doesn't seem right at all.
He never
And then,
heard.
you know,
Oh yeah.
Brad, does it remind you on what's that? Straight Outta Compton when Snoop came up to Dre house and he just started writing them lyrics for
Yeah.
ain't nothing but a G
Yeah.
thing. I'm like,
I
what?
was like, what's going on here? The thing that really threw me for a loop is the guy who plays Snoop in the All Eyes on Me movie. His voice is overdubbed with the real Snoop Dogg's voice.
Damn,
It's
how does
really
that?
wild. It's
Is it believable?
Hell no.
Nah, that's pretty
Because only one person sounds like Snoop Dogg, and that's Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg.
So it's like you can, because it throws you off because like his audio is different from everybody else's in the room.
Yeah,
But, you
can
know,
tell-
I can
tell, like,
appreciate it.
insert Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate what they tried to do, but you know, but overall, the movie wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. I've been meaning to check out that series that's on USA right now. That's Unsolved. It's kind of like the O.J. Simpson series, but it's with Biggie and Pac's murders.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to catch that one. I haven't watched that yet. I actually just rewatched People versus O.J. on
That's a
Netflix.
great series. Oh, a
I'm
great
like,
series.
man, that's a phenomenal series. Did y'all see the Lost Confession thing? Did y'all talk about it on the show?
Oh yeah, we talked about that. We talked about the foolishness of one
Excuse my
Mr.
language.
Bronco man.
That guy is out of his goddamn mind.
Oh yeah, for sure.
O.J. Simpson is out of his ever-loving mind.
Gotta be,
Indeed.
And I'm like,
gotta be
oh.
some CTE going on there.
There's
Man,
got to
word.
be. Who the hell is Charlie? Let's be honest. Who the hell is Charlie?
Charlie Murphy.
Yeah, it wasn't Charlie Murphy. Yeah, they didn't.
It was you, pimping.
No doubt.
It was you. Right?
So
Now,
Brad,
wouldn't that be
Oh.
kind of crazy though if Charlie Murphy was the conscience of
Chill.
O.J.?
chill.
No.
Oh, I got.
AJ,
That is not.
he is cheating on you. They are cheating on you. You gotta off this girl. You gotta get rid of her.
Oh man, what did the knife say to the neck?
He
Slice.
said no.
You know?
If I would have cut her, I would have cut her like this. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? So you thought about this?
Don't fillet the bitch.
And then he starts laughing like this crazy belly laugh. He's like, "This is all hypothetical." I'm like, "This motherfucker out of his mind."
Nuts.
Like he was crazy.
He was nuts.
Crazy.
But you know,
man.
Fox love that. They
What? Oh, they.
Oh, that's rating. They don't care.
That's
That's
ratings.
They don't give a damn.
Oh yeah. Be the first.
now let's
But
go
that
ahead
was
and
for
drop
sure.
this out there for the let's drop this out here for the people that Netflix does have that Rapture hip hop documentary that's gonna drop on Friday, so everybody needs to watch that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
talking about who I forgot who's on there. I think 2 Chainz on there, G-Eazy, Davies and Nas. They have Rhapsody on there. I think DJ Clue or somebody on there. I can't wait to see that. I don't know if y'all seen the trailer for that.
I didn't see the trailer, but you know the hip hop documentaries. I mean, is it about just like the history of hip hop, or what is it?
No, it's basically covering artists and how they're raised. I mean, their rise to fame and the tropes and stuff they have to go through when trying to what's the word I'm trying to say? Trying to get the fame. Like with G-Eazy, he talks about how, you know, being a white rapper and growing up in society where a lot of white there was just like Eminem and Buzz, and then with they have like Davies talking about growing up under Nas and him taking Nas kind of mentoring him and where he became a T.I. about how he made it out the trap and how he tried to switch his lifestyle around and stuff like that. 2 Chainz and how he does the same thing, stuff like that. So Rhapsody
I
about
like
you know
that.
being
I like
that's
that.
gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see that.
Because like I was kind of done with the hip hop documentaries that just like go back to 1977 New York. Cool Herc was at 1520 Sedgwick. I'm like, I've heard the same stuff so many times. It was like, y'all remember that Ice-T documentary called The Art of Rap?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? Did you ever watch that?
I don't think I watched that one.
Ice-T called a bunch of people and was like, "Hey, will you spit a 16 on a camera?" I didn't know that was a movie. That was all that it was. So I was like,
Pretty
man,
much.
there hadn't been like a great hip hop documentary. So
There was one. What's that? The Defiant ones was pretty awesome. I did enjoy that.
Now that is good. I did like that.
Yeah, that was
I did
You
not
I'm talking
know.
about, like, you know, from like Jump, from like, you know, talking about from 77 and all the way up to, you know, Sugar Hill Gang through, you know, Cardi B. Like, I want to hear the whole 9, you know.
Hey, speaking of Cardi B, I heard she's finally dropping her album on April the 6th.
Okay. Well,
I saw it. What's the name of it? It's
I have no idea.
Get Out of My Business or something. It's something like that, or You're in My Business, or it sounds like an EPMD album, whatever it is. But
I don't even. I heard there's a cover and everything. I haven't even done my research. I'm not
cover's
checking
kinda
for it.
dope. Yeah, the cover's kind of dope. I don't know. I'll give it a stream through. I'll give it
Did
a
y'all-
stream through.
Have y'all seen Cardi B on the new Cosmopolitan magazine?
I haven't, but congratulations. to her.
Hey, you might need to go take a look at that, man. Snack, she's looking like a snack. Let's keep it honest. She's looking mighty well on there. I know y'all got women and all, but I'm just going. Well, for those who don't have women, take a look.
Had to grab your goodie bag, huh? I feel you.
Bro, back in the day, you remember the girls back in the day in high school that used to have Cosmopolitan magazines? I was like, oh, I know you're having sex. I was like, I know you're having sex.
With the
I don't know if y'all have ever opened up one of the magazines, but shit, you talking about details about how to give a blowjob, like how to satisfy. I'm just like, what are you doing reading this? This is not for teenagers to be reading.
They live.
I remember one Cosmopolitan magazine being cracked open in my adolescence and inquiring about what was going on, you know, between the pages. And I remember it, you know, discussing and describing a technique in which you take a feather and you tickle. Yeah, and this was, you know, the woman doing this to the man, and you tickle the man with the feather. Pause on that sentence. I just feel like I have to pause that. So like you tickle the man with the feather, like all the, you know, everywhere except for, you know, a specific area. And I'm like, what the hell is this? That would just piss me off.
Like, what are you doing right now? Why are you tickling me? I'm too old for
I
this.
might throw you out the room. I'll lick my hand and do a better job than that. You know what I mean? Just get the hell out of here.
Oh man, that was funny. Oh god, that was
That was
funny.
me as an adolescent, as a 17-year-old young lad. You know, 25-year-old Brad Gilmore does not think that way, and I appreciate anything that every woman does in the entire world. Hashtag women.
Hashtag women power empowerment.
Women power. That's right. Damn straight.
But Brad, how you feeling about the Rockets' chances this year, man? I know you've been.
I'm feeling good, and that's good with a T at the end.
Yeah.
I think, man, going in. So let's go back to the off season. After we saw Game 6 Spurs, James Harden was just like, screw this, I'm going to the club over there on Peace Street.
Yes, sir.
I feel him, right?
Women empowerment.
That's right. Hashtag women empowerment. Throwing out scholarships. So when I heard we were looking for CP3, I'm like, man, this is real interesting. I like having CP3. And I think we may have even talked about this on the show when I was on.
We did.
I think we did. I think we talked about how it would have, all the time you would have, excellent point guards, on the floor for the entire duration of the game, all 48 minutes. And so I love that. I loved it. I did not think that it would work as well as it did. I did not think it was working as well as it did. And when we talked about it before we started rolling, when you pick up a guy like a PJ Tucker, you get Gerald Green during the season, you get a couple extra pieces on there, and then Capella starts coming into his own. I said this on Twitter probably back in November, maybe October. I'm like, you know what? Rockets are probably going to win 60 games this season. Easy. Mm-hmm. And I got into a couple debates on it because they're like, no way, not in the crowded West, blah, 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 blah. But no, Rockets came in, they put their foot in every team's ass, and they spray painted Rockets were here on it too. Yes, sir. And they made sure that they were known. I think they have great chances. I think that them being the 1 seed is very important. I think them being the 1 seed and having home court advantage throughout the playoffs is way more meaningful to the Rockets than it is maybe a team like the Warriors. I think that plays in our advantage more. Because I think the Warriors, they're one of those teams where they're pretty. I know Oracle has it's got its magic to it, but I think that they're not as concerned with being the 1 seed, I think, as the Rockets were. And I think that's a lot of the reason why we got to that 60 wins and why we are so far ahead right now. We wanted that home court advantage. And so I think right now the way everything's lining up, man, I don't know. And now with Steph out, maybe Clay's out, maybe he's not. But with Steph out of round 1 of the playoffs, anything can happen right now.
Anything can happen. And
we
I
can
love
beat that trash-ass Cavs team. I don't care.
Oh, we can get them. Says. Yes, sir. They are trash. Straight garbage.
Trash. Straight garbage.
I just love it that
and even if it's Toronto, whoever the hell it is, we can get these. We can get these guys. I don't want anyone thinking that we can't. Our only challenge is one team, and that's the Golden State Warriors. It's the same team that's been our challenge for the past 3 years. People want to talk about how the Rockets, James Harden, Chris Paul in the playoffs, they don't have great records. Well, yeah, I think James Harden did okay a couple years ago with Dwight Howard. Not that 500 season, but the one before that where they were in the West Conference playoffs. I mean,
yes, sir.
Finals. I mean, and this notion that CP3 goes away in the playoffs. I mean, he hasn't been on the right teams. He hasn't been running the right system. And now with the system D'Antoni's got him in, I mean, obviously he's getting past round 1 this time around. At least I'm so, knock on wood.
I'm loving what Brad's talking right now because he's preaching exactly what I've been preaching all year long. The Rockets show you diehard, like Wilson says. There's always you can't go to the finals. It's championship or bust for the Rockets because there's no reason why the Rockets shouldn't win a championship with the roster they have. What they have shown all throughout the year that they can win. They can keep a big lead. That they can win a close game. They can win a dog-out fight. That they can win when James Harden's not having a good game. Other players step up. The Rockets have shown you that. They just got to show up in the playoffs. And I don't know why everybody creates this narrative about with the James Harden not showing up in the playoffs or Chris Paul not showing up in the playoffs, but they still give Russell Westbrook a pass when he hasn't really done anything or the Blazers really haven't done anything. They create these narratives only for the Rockets but no other team, and that annoys me. That annoys me to high heavens because I hate.
James, yeah, go ahead. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, keep going.
No, I was just saying, like, go ahead. We keep cutting each other off.
Oh, we keep cutting each other off. I was just saying, I just really hate that people are not trying to give. Like, no one was talking about the Warriors. So the Warriors were doing nothing. They were bounced out, the first round before they went on their championship run? But it's like you have to give people, it's a new season, it's a new outlook, it's a new day. You have to give people their shot, and you have to give them their credit. And people are not giving the Rockets credit. They say, oh, we've been here, done that. But we haven't been here. We haven't seen James Harden with this level of focus when they broke their franchise record the other night, and the team wasn't celebrating or hopping all over the place. It was like, okay, well, on to the next game. You haven't seen a Rockets team like that. Usually they're like showboating. James Harden, like you said, is up to the strip club that night and stuff like that. You see the mind state of these Rockets players that they are locked in and focused, and it's really inspiring for a long-time Rockets fan just to see this type of dedication to the craft that the Rockets players are doing, and it's amazing to watch.
Now, Wilson, on the outside looking in, I know you've been following the season a little bit, but one, I want to know, what do you feel the Rockets' biggest weakness is? And number two, man, how do you feel about your Spurs right now? They currently down to the Wizards. I know the whole Kawhi situation we've been talking about the past couple weeks. Overall, what do you feel is the Rockets' weakness, and what do you feel the Spurs need to do to improve into the playoff push?
I'll take those questions in the reverse order. As far as the Spurs are concerned, they're going to keep doing what they've been doing. I just saw that Mr. Aldridge got hurt tonight.
Oh, damn.
As we so there in itself resides another challenge. The Spurs are going to do what the Spurs do. They're going to rally behind their coach. They're going to buckle down. They're going to show pride. I mean, you're talking about an organization that historically has only missed the playoffs, 4 times ever? 41 years?
That's
only
impressive.
had 6 losing seasons ever in 41 years.
Impressive.
I mean, it's certain things that are going to go notwithstanding when it comes to San Antonio. They're going to go through. They're going to dig deep. They're going to put in, their yeoman effort. Ultimately, it's just not their year. They have too much to overcome right now. It's too much of a competitive conference. They're going to show up. They're going to do what they can. They're going to fight hard. But I don't really have high expectations for them going into the postseason. As far as the Rockets are concerned, their biggest weakness to me is twofold. I think that they need to make sure that they're still conscious enough to get out of their own way like they've been doing this regular season. And I think that experience is going to play a factor, especially when it comes to the later rounds when you play against a team like the Warriors that have an all-star roster, but they also have an all-star roster of people that have been used to going deep into the postseason, playing for championships, stuff like that. There's a lot to be said for being able to exist and flourish in certain moments. You can have guys that, they give you that youthful enthusiasm. You have guys that come in and they come into their own, like Brad said, with a Clint Capella, who's having an absolutely wonderful season. That paycheck is going to be glorious for him next year.
Secure the bag.
Oh my God! But you go through, man. I think that the biggest thing that the Rockets have to go through is don't get too caught up. Stay comfortable. Do what got you there. But play up to expectations, man, and not play up to fans' expectations. Don't play up to FS1 or ESPN's expectations. Play up to your own expectations. If you go out there and you got the mindset that you're locked in, you're focused, you're gonna play like a champion every night. Play like a champion every night. Don't get down.
Can I say that?
Or anything like that.
Can I say I like what you said about playoff experience? I like that every player, most of the players on the Rockets team have playoff experience. From Ariza getting that championship, Nene's been to the Western Conference Finals, Harden's been to the Western Conference Finals and the Finals. PJ Tucker last year with the Raptors was in the Eastern Conference Finals. Then you got Eric Gordon, who was actually doing nothing, honestly, because he was just a bum out there, honestly, back in the day. But they have experience with Ryan Anderson. He has been in the finals, so it's amazing. They do have that experience. So I hope they just flourish in that pressure, like you said, and they step up in those big moments and they don't crumble.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not a matter of necessarily, crumbling per se. I don't want to use that term because to me that's a little too much sauce on that. If they come up short, they come up short. Now, if they pull some shit like they did last season and drop a closeout game by 39, okay, well then you crumble. But I really can't see that. I really can't see that from this team. However, it's still the way that all the blue bloods, all the folks that have been winning all these years are going to look at it when it comes to the Rockets. If you guys claim to be next on deck, you got to show up and show out. Because if you don't, I mean,
they're going to talk that shit.
It's back to the same narrative. It's okay. Well, that's great. You did a great regular season, but we don't believe you when the lights get brighter and the games get tougher. The one thing that you always got to remember is in the playoffs, there are no bad teams. There are no layup games. You got to get out there. You got to fight. You got to dig, and especially in the West. I mean, this isn't the Eastern Conference playoffs we're talking about. This is the West. It's going to be a dogfight Right, every single game.
Ooh, Nene. Sorry, y'all. I'm watching the game and Nene just mashed it. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on, for me, in the playoffs. Obviously the dragon that we have to slay is Golden State. But here's what I was talking about earlier, is with Steph being out of that round one, and right now the way things are going, it looks like if things stay the same, the Warriors are either going to be facing the Spurs or the T-Wolves in round one. If they face the T-Wolves in round one with no Steph, and with an injury, with KD and Clay coming off injuries going into the playoffs, I don't know, man. T-Wolves is a bad team. They're a bad team, and Derrick Rose coming off the bench, and he's getting at least 12 to 16 points coming off the bench in the games that he's played. I know we can say what we want about Derrick Rose. The man in 2011 did win an MVP. And the man is a great player. He's got his injury issues, but him coming off the bench is great. Jimmy Butler being back. You have Karl-Anthony Towns. They've got a lot of great pieces. And I know I'm crazy for saying it, but if it comes up T-Wolves Warriors in round one, maybe the Warriors still get past them, but the T-Wolves aren't going to lay down. This isn't going to be like last year where Warriors win 12 straight. It's not going to happen this time.
They play them tough. They usually play the Warriors tough, but I'm more concerned about them playing the Jazz because that's what it's looking more like. And the Jazz is a hungry-ass team to be trying to play in the playoffs, especially in the first round. Quinn Snyder's going to have them boys ready to play. I can't wait to see that. I want to see if Donovan Mitchell, it carries over what he's done in the regular season to the playoffs. So that's going to be really interesting to me.
I had a nightmare of Jazz versus Rockets and Mitchell being Lillard 2.0. So
what? Yeah. Hell nah. I ain't worried about no team other than the Warriors.
It was a mean night.
I'm gonna throw who wanna accept this candy bet? I'm throwing it out there. The Rockets don't win nothing. They don't lose nothing but 2 games in the first 2 rounds. That's it.
Ooh,
who wants to take that bet? That's the only. They will only lose 2 games or less.
They're winning both series either by sweep or 4-1. That's what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Man,
come on. Who wants that bet? Come on, Marcus. Come on, Wilson.
I'm not taking it.
Oh, I have no desire to it because, like I stated before, when my man Brad was talking about the Minnesota matchup and stuff like that, I'm telling y'all right now, whoever Golden State plays in the first round of the playoffs, they're going to sweep because they're going to send a message because y'all haven't been talking about them because everybody thinks that they're down because they're quote unquote injured and banged up going into the playoffs. They're going to come out there and they're going to try to beat every single team in the playoffs by 30. You mark my words.
I don't think they
setup.
I don't think they can.
It's a setup.
I don't think they can because
it doesn't matter what you think. It matters about what they're gonna put out on that product on that floor.
They're gonna try
to have a team that's actually established, actually a proven winner that's gonna come into the playoffs with a bit of an attitude and a chip on their shoulder. Mark my words.
It's gonna be interesting because I see a whole different scenario. Because I don't like how the Warriors play when it's just Kevin Durant is the leader of the squad because they lose their ball movement. They do a lot of ISO ball. They do a lot of standing around. The defense is not as efficient as it is when Curry is. I think I underrated Curry and his importance to the Warriors about what was that last year, DeMarcus, when we had that discussion about they should get Mike Conley or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think I've underrated the importance of Steph Curry, and I would like to apologize to Mr. Curry. I wish I would have made it to his birthday bash. It looked like they had great fun there. I wish I had one of them cow ribs that he was chewing on. But I really underrate how important that he is to that squad and how ball movement is not as fluid as it is when Kevin Durant is playing. Because you watch them, I don't know, the Warriors could be bored with the season, whatnot, but I don't truly agree when they're saying up there and say, "Oh, we're not worried about getting that 1 seed." I don't know, man.
They've never needed it. They've never needed to be the 1 seed.
Well, but let's not like act like the Warriors have just been this polished team, that's ran through the playoffs. The year that they had their best regular season, they wanted that 73 wins. The year they had their best season, they ended up losing to LeBron James. That's with a completely healthy Warriors. And then we go back to the year prior. I think the only reason they won a championship the year prior is because LeBron was playing with a bunch of janitors. He didn't have anybody out there with him.
And Kyrie and Love was out.
They were both out. And then to me, their first championship that they really won going against the Cavaliers, they had to add cheat codes with Kevin Durant in order to do it. Now, when you have, in all honesty, so to me, when you're looking at this in round one, they're definitely not sweeping whoever they're playing in round one. I definitely agree with you. The ball movement is much slower without Steph on the court. I think I talked about it on this show last time I was on. I think I said I'd take Kyrie over Steph. Boy, was I wrong, because I would take Steph 9 times out of 10 now, because I see how important he is and how much of a lifeblood he is to that franchise. And you take away his shooting, you take away him bringing the ball up the court, and you give it to KD, the whole dynamic of that team changes. Could they be bored with the regular season? Absolutely. Are they bored with the regular season? Absolutely. Are they a little bit salty that they're the number 2 seed? I think
absolutely.
So. I think so. Absolutely. So I think, though, that they're going to come in here. They're going to come in here with all guns blazing. They're going to.
I'm with Brad.
They're trying to sweep it, but I don't think they're going. I don't think they're going to.
No, it's not even.
I know.
It's not even fathom.
I know, my man. I know. Here's the thing. The Rockets, Spurs, we both fallen victim to the Warriors. We both don't like this team. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I think this year, if any year, is the year that the Warriors have the most trouble in the Western Conference playoffs with. If they get the T-Wolves in that first round, I'm telling you, I don't think the T-Wolves are going to pull it out. If they do, that's going to be a shocker. That's going to be Karl Anthony Towns' coming out party. But I think that they're going to get banged up in these first 2 rounds of the playoffs, and the Rockets are going to be licking their chops. It's just what I think. It's just what I think.
Okay, Marcus, this is what Wilson, this is what this reminds me of. When you watch, I know you're the ultimate Spurs fan, and from the outside looking in, because I didn't know you back then, in 2014, when the Spurs was going on their run, there was a type of swagger, a type of attitude, a type of determination that the Spurs were carrying into the playoffs or during that whole entire season. And they had their doubters. Everybody was doubting the Spurs at left and right that season, and I remember that. And then they went up against, they said they went against the Thunder, and everybody knew. They was like, oh, the Thunder going to knock off the Spurs. They're going to knock off the Spurs. And that was just a hot team that everybody wants to do. But it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's an attitude. It's a mindset. When you watch the 2004 Detroit Pistons, or you watch Kobe when he took off with in 2009 when he was going against Boston. I mean, and then when you look at the Mavericks, it's an attitude that you see with the teams, and you kind of can follow it throughout the season. The attitude that the Rockets have, and I know you pay attention to the Rockets, but from a lifelong Rockets, I'm not even say lifelong, we've been through the mud with the Rockets, but it's something different with this team, and it looks like they're getting it, and they're not just happy with just, oh, we're going into the postseason. They're not happy with, don't look like they're happy with how they're playing right now. They look like they're always trying to build on something. And right now, I just think they're the more determined team right now, and it's going to be scary for whoever plays them. And I think they're going to whoop everybody's ass, honestly. The healthy Warriors or not, I don't really care. I think the Rockets got it going on this year, and it showed in Game 1, opening season. Warriors playing for that game literally all year long. We've been pseudo the right. I'm not gonna say we're not rightos. We've been the person that's been trying to chip at little brother for a long time. And that opening game, a Rockets team that got 8 new players playing the Warriors were able to beat the Warriors at home. That sent the message, and it's been like that all year long. The Rockets are coming to prove something, and I think that it's our year. And if we do fail, oh shit, I'm gonna be depressed as hell. I'm gonna be honest with you. I may retire from Fish and Grits.
Oh wait, hold on now. I'll be hot at the Rockets if they don't pull through. But here's the thing, I mean, with the Warriors, another thing that I think they got going against them is if Steph is out round 1, and he's been out for how many weeks now? At least 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
We came back that one game and got rehurt.
He came back, won that game, and then JaVale did a JaVale thing.
Yep, Shaq and the Fool 2.0.
Rock bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I'm saying, so with them being out, with Steph being out for however many weeks, really, because that one game, you can count it, you cannot count it. Now he's going to come back in round 2. Now they're going to have to get reacclimated. I know they've been playing all season with him, but they're going to have to get reacclimated to the pace that Steph's going to try to bring in round 2. That, to me, that's why I don't think they're going to sweep in these playoffs at all, because they're going to be a slower team in round 1. If they're going against the T-Wolves, I like the T-Wolves' chances of getting at least one, maybe 2 games, maybe 2.
I like that.
If at least one game, and they're gonna, and here's the thing: each game's gonna be competitive. I don't think there's gonna be a blowout with the T-Wolves. We saw just a couple weeks ago the T-Wolves and the Rockets. I was a little nervous about the Rockets winning that game.
Even though they laid that egg against the Grizzlies last night.
Well, hey, don't interrupt me when I'm trying to make a point here. No. But what I'm saying is, and then you come into round 2, and you got a Warriors team that's already been through the ringer a little bit with competitive games with T-Wolves or whomever it may be. I'm just assuming it's going to be the T-Wolves. And then they got a round 2 team
with the Blazers.
Steph with the Blazers.
Or OKC.
OKC. Think about OKC Warriors trying to put Steph back into that lineup with Russell, Paul, and Melo. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I think if there's any time that the Warriors can be knocked out early, and I'm talking about not making it to the Western Conference Finals, which I know sounds crazy to everybody listening to this right now, but if there was ever a year for that to be a possibility, and if there were ever a series of circumstances that made it more possible, it's right here. It's right now going into this postseason. And I'm telling you guys, the Rockets, when my man Harden hit that nice J on Austin Rivers, and Austin didn't even run up on him, and James Harden turns around and says, "I like him. He's smart." That's that swagger you're talking about that the Spurs had in 14, or that the Heat had in those 2 championship LeBron seasons, or the swagger that Michael Jordan always had with those Bulls teams. There's a certain thing when these guys can come through. And I think it was the Pelicans game just a couple nights ago with the Rockets where James Harden had under 20 points.
Struggle City.
Won.
Had a triple-double.
And they still won. And decisively won. So I'm telling you, these Rockets, I don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs, but I'm just saying if there's ever a time for the Rockets to win, it would be this season. Obviously, setting that franchise record. They're probably going to be a 65-win team, at least a 64-win team, and nobody saw that coming into this season. Everyone thought, oh man, CP and Harden, they're just not going to work out together. It's not going to.
They knew they knew for sure we weren't going to work.
They knew for sure. I think my man, Colin Cowherd, I think he said, we were going to be maybe a 50-win team.
Maybe.
And I'm like,
the foolishness that he talks.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not the most accurate guy anyway. But but just to see what we've done with this year, and I don't think. And here's the thing: unless Kawhi has some miracle, and unless everybody is on the same path, if for some reason the Rockets cross the Spurs in the playoffs, it's not going to be a repeat of last year. I guarantee that. And I don't know what's going on with Kawhi.
Kawhi's been playing. He's been lying this whole time, and he comes out round 1 ready to go. I'm fresh. Hey, man. I'm fresh, boys.
Hey, man. You never know. I mean, the playoffs might be the thing that he comes back for. Tony Parker. What did y'all think about Tony Parker calling that guy out?
Man, I was shocked by that. Marcus, I want to hear your thoughts first before I go off on mine. Did Wilson leave us?
Tony Parker choosing to say what he said about Kawhi Leonard is something that is not befitting of somebody that's been in the league as long as he has. I think that one of the most disappointing things about it is, unfortunately, it goes to show that, just because you have tenure in a locker room doesn't mean that you're a leader in a locker room. And that's why a lot of the Spurs stars over the years have always traditionally been more quiet about things that go on. They keep their mouths shut because, seniority doesn't make you an alpha dog, per se. And Tony Parker is and has never been an alpha dog in any locker room that I know of. I think that it did more harm than good at the end of the day. I think that Popovich is probably going to have to do some damage control because if I'm Kawhi Leonard and that's the way that people feel about it, then why would I need to be there in the first place?
Exactly. And then Sam Jack ain't making no better. Captain Jack ain't making no better, saying that Parker and Ginobili were basically speaking for Pop because they not that type of they don't have that type of personality to come out and say that kind of stuff.
The truth offends you. Steven Jackson said no lies in that interview.
That's
Steven
crazy.
Jackson actually said that Tony Parker doesn't have the balls to do it.
Oh yeah, he did say he didn't have the balls. I was like, ooh.
Steven Jackson has told no lies in that interview. We know what kind of locker room that is for diehard Spurs fans, for people that really know what it is. When have you ever, since he's been a Spur, heard Tony Parker speak up about anything?
Ever.
He didn't have balls enough to speak up on sleeping with Brent Berry's wife and cheating on his own wife. Why would he speak about anything else?
Blame.
I didn't know that Tony Parker could speak English, so that's just me.
Frenchie, what you doing?
But you know,
Because I mean, you know,
what's going
always
on with
when
Kawhi,
the chips are down, everybody is going to go and look to Tony Parker to lead them. You know, that's the way it's always worked in San Antonio. Give me a break. He should have stayed in his lane, like Mr. Ball always says, and like Mr. Johnson says, he needs to know his role and shut his goddamn mouth.
Yeah.
Period.
And let me ask you one other thing. Do we not think it's I know this is I don't know, this is because we know that we always there's a comparison that with the Patriots and the Spurs, they're kind of the leaders of their organization. I mean, like the Patriots are the leader of the NFL, and the Spurs is kind of the way you need to do it in the NBA. But it's crazy that we've never heard dysfunction like this in both teams, and it's just like both of them are having their woes this year. I just never seen that, especially with the Patriots or the Spurs.
You're going through and you're looking at the fact that the meat and potatoes, the core, and I mean the absolute core of what makes those organizations great, are old or gone now. You've had periods of transition and stuff like that, but you've never had a Spurs team that you've been looking at that hasn't had a Tim Duncan there to be the anchor. They have no anchors anymore. That's the biggest difference. Nobody beats Father Time. You're going to have to go through and you have to sell this culture to a different generation of athlete that won't look at it the same way that a Manu, a Tony, and a Tim Duncan would, where they're all in for the wins and for the rings and for doing whatever it takes to be successful. I mean, if we're being honest about what it is that you're trying to accomplish as an athlete at the end of the day, you're trying to win, right? So there should be a waiting list a mile long to go to places like a New England or a San Antonio is currently constructed, but it's not, because the priorities aren't the same for modern day athletes now. They look into branding, they look into securing the bag, as we like to say. Those things hold a little bit of a higher precedence above just simply winning. Yeah. That's why Popovich goes through and he has his things about preferring foreign players that just want to go and play team ball and be easily coachable and stuff like that, because they're not worried about what endorsement deals they're getting or how much money they're making or how much shine they're getting. They're just worried about the wins and losses at the end of the day. So when you go through and you have to go through and change and try to evolve with that culture, you're going to hit bumps in the road like this. Now, the thing that's going to make it interesting is moving forward, if it's one of those situations where after the postseason is over, and they go through and they extend this Supermax deal to Kawhi Leonard. If he refuses, well, you're going to see San Antonio picking the lottery this season, because whoever it is that has a number 1 or a number 2 pick is probably going to get Kawhi Leonard.
Here you go, Memphis. Take him.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Kawhi. I mean, I would like to believe that, you know, whatever is going on, you know, he's sincere about. But, you know, I will say Vince McMahon at 60 years old blew both of his quads out and was wrestling a match like 5 months later. You know, and this is a 60-year-old
I mean,
man.
This is true.
Something's going on.
One of the biggest issues with Kawhi's injury is the fact that he's been cleared by NBA doctors. He's been cleared by Spurs doctors. He hasn't been cleared by his personal doctors. And that's where the problem lies. And you go through and it's such a ticky-tack situation because you're dealing with a player that's basically in a contract year. He's supposed to be the next face of your franchise. So you don't want to put him out there a la Les Alexander and the Rockets accusing Akeem of faking injuries back in the day and completely ruin the man's image on staying in San Antonio. Ooh. You got to handle it with kid gloves. You got to be a little tender when it comes to it. But they're riding down that slippery slope. And at this point, as a diehard in the know Spurs fan, I honestly would be surprised at this point, because if I was in his shoes, it would take a hard sell. It would take a hard sell for me to stay in San Antonio at this point.
Man, really? Damn.
I agree, man. That's crazy. I never saw that coming.
It's a respect thing at the end of the day. Kawhi's never been disruptive. He's never gone out and just mailed it in. He's never not giving you 150%. He's never not giving you everything that he's had
That's true.
to that organization. And now all of a sudden he has a very significant injury. You think about the style of play that Kawhi Leonard has, and you look at something like a quad injury, which is why I'm utterly fascinated by somebody that doesn't play two-way ball like a Tony Parker.
Tony Parker.
Talk about how much worse his quad injury is. Well, motherfucker, all you do is run in straight lines all the time. I mean,
Pick and roll is your best friend.
You need safe floaters. Come on, Tony.
I mean, great. You know what I'm saying? You run through and get your floater in. You hardly ever get any kind of contact like that. And heaven forbid, you can't lock down anybody's point guard. Let's see Kyrie's coming out game as what? A rookie second-year player against the Spurs national TV, 57 points, something like that. I mean, come on. Let's be realistic about this. So, I mean, it's one of those things where Pop is going to have to get on his grind. I think that, Dave and Tim are all going to come into play, and they're going to give them, they're going to give him the Spurs way talk, and at the end of the day, it's going to be up to that young man to decide to do what's best for him. I have no dog in the fight as far as that's concerned. I'm not looking to lay blame on either side. As a fan of both Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs, I would just like to see him come back at some point healthy and play, even if it's not for my team, because I just enjoy watching Kawhi Leonard play.
Yeah, he's a hard-working dude.
Kawhi, yeah, I mean, he does it the right way.
Kawhi gonna come back with the braids cut off. He gonna have him a fresh fade.
Man, let me tell you something. If Kawhi Leonard comes back with a fade, if Kawhi Leonard comes back with a fade, I might trade him because he might only average like 10 points.
He's gonna be too Hollywood for them boys.
Yeah. That might be his mojo. He might cut off his mojo with that one. I don't know.
Gonna have a swirl in the middle.
Yeah, he gonna have a part. He gonna come out there with some fresh J's on. He gonna have dang, I forgot what I was gonna say. God dang it.
I'm gonna get on Facebook Live and burn all my Leonard jerseys if I can.
Oh yeah, man, you gotta get up there.
I gotta do it like they do it. It's trendy now.
You gotta burn them jerseys.
I'm so mad. I'm burning all my jerseys.
And I paid for it.
I paid $300 for this, but this is besides the point. I
Fuck
hate
this jersey.
Tripping.
You know what jersey I would never buy? You know what jersey I would never buy is a Joe Johnson Rockets jersey.
Oh,
I'm just
me
putting
neither.
it out there.
Cut him.
Who?
Cut him.
The missing piece. What y'all talking about? That was the key piece. That was the last piece that y'all needed in the puzzle.
I think Gerald Green was the missing piece. I think we should have just kept it as that. We already got rid of Brandon Wright. Let's go ahead and cut Joe Johnson.
Let Joe be on the winning team for a minute.
I'm just gonna put out here though that the Rockets are 3 points away from beating the Bulls by 40 right now.
Oh my God!
Throwing that one out there.
And guess what? The Cavs are getting blown out by the Miami Heat. What a great day! What a great day!
Well, I think they lost 3 games in Miami, so hey, that's business as usual right there.
LeBron, this is the year you go down. You're not making it to the championship.
And Evil Griffin returns. Man,
can I say one thing? I think the Sixers are a fucking problem that I think more people need to talk about. I think that, man, they have the third. I think it's the third best record since Christmas. They have the third highest defensive efficiency since Christmas, and they also have the second best offense since Christmas, all behind the Rockets. Watch out for them Sixers.
And they're adding in
played since Christmas.
They played hard. They played they beat the Cavs. They beat a lot of the 500 teams.
So that's not telling me anything.
No, I'm saying they beat a lot of the 500 teams. They not beating no scrubs. Like they beat the OKC. Everybody hypes up. They beat the Blazers one game. They beat Milwaukee. I think the Sixers are really getting hot at the right time. And Markelle Fultz coming back and them adding the pieces in Bellinelli or in Ilyasova, I think that's really been helping because they've been balling off the bench.
Just adding pieces to that core.
Did you just say adding Markelle Fultz was adding a piece?
It's adding extra body out there that can score because they don't have a paint's presence. And if you say Markelle Fultz is going to give me what he gave me last night, or he's going to give me some semblance of let me go to the lane and drive and open up that offense, that's going to be really. It's amazing to see. And Ben Simmons got a girlfriend. He dating Tanashi. I know she turning tricks at the house. No wonder why he dropping triple doubles. You see why he dropping triple doubles, man. He got missed 2 on at the house, so I see why he turned up. So I'm telling you, man, watch out for them Sixers, and they might mess around and pass up the Cavs for that 3rd seed.
Ben Simmons
they're only half a game behind.
He's had one of the best non-talked about seasons of all time for a rookie.
Rookie of the
Technically,
year.
he's not a rookie. I get it. I
Oh,
get it.
rookie.
Technically, he's not a rookie.
Or
yeah.
a rookie.
All
Man,
time.
please.
Just in
Miss me
general.
with that rookie. Miss me with that he's a rookie shit. Come on.
Yeah, he's not a rookie. I don't know why. Why do we do this? Why do they do that? Why do they classify him as a rookie? No one asked you to get hurt last year. You missed that rookie year. If I get hurt my freshman year, I am not a freshman the next year. I'm a sophomore.
Nobody
I
said
guess,
anything.
I guess if Greg Oden came back this season, then he would still be a rookie too, right?
Yes, he would. Now that you say that.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Hey,
That's funny.
Blake Griffin won Rookie of the Year. He missed the whole year. So hey, man.
That is
And
true.
somebody was dumb as hell for giving him that. That was stupid.
Yeah. I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid, man. But hey, it still counts for him. They do had a whole summer to grow 2 inches. Like this shit crazy.
Yeah, we can go. I think the rookie of the year there could be an argument that could be made for my boy Jason Tatum. That dude right there. I know it's gonna be Donovan Mitchell and what he's done for that Jazz organization. So they're probably gonna give it to him just because they make it. They're gonna make the playoffs, and they lost Gordon Hayward, ISO Joe. Yeah, and Gortat was out for a while. So yeah,
they didn't lose ISO Joe, bro. They gave
him up. They said, "Out of here, ISO. Thank you for your playoff."
I'm biased on the Donovan Mitchell. Y'all know I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah,
he's gonna be a superstar.
Jason Tatum has been carrying that team because a lot of with Kyrie being out the lineup, with Al Horford missing time, with Jaylen Brown missing time, with them losing Hayward, man, there's an argument that can be made that Brad Stevenson deserves Coach of the Year as well as Jason Tatum deserves Rookie of the Year. Brad Stevenson is a damn good coach, and I'm loving the way his style of basketball and how he's really succeeding in spite of a lot of his injuries, the injuries that's going on in that organization. So you got to give him some love. 51 wins? Oh, that's impressive.
No doubt. Big time salute to Brad, man. Well, man,
he's
out. He's out.
He is all right when you got Pop as a coach.
Did Butler beat Kansas or something?
I mean,
in a tournament?
Pop is like Popovich is like the LeBron rule when it comes to Coach of the Year.
That is true.
Literally, Popovich can be a Coach of the Year every year.
He should have won last year.
This year, he should be top 3 in voting for Coach of the Year for the miracle that he's pulled off all season.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. But I
love Brad. Y'all know I was just shooting. You know, I was just poking fun. You know, I love Brad Stevens. He's an awesome coach. He's an awesome coach.
No doubt. Man, we are a couple of weeks away from WrestleMania 34. We're gonna run through the card a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But man,
there, brother.
Is there any particular match that y'all looking forward to if you catch it?
Start with Brad. He's the guest.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of matches on this card that I'm looking forward to. A lot of people won't agree with me on this, but I'm looking forward to this Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match. They had a hell of a match at WrestleMania 31. They're the only 2 guys to ever beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I think there's a lot of story there, and I think they're going to go out there. And I don't know if they're going to steal the show, but they're going to damn sure try. I'm excited. I don't know. We've been on the call since SmackDown was on. I don't know if they've made that match official yet, but it's been looking like Daniel Bryan will return and tag team with Shane McMahon to take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
I thought Shane had surgery.
No, I think Shane's straight. I think he's back. I don't know though. I haven't watched. Like we said, we've been on the call.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of the match that's on this card that I'm looking most forward to. I guess for a pure wrestling standpoint would be AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh yeah.
I think that's going to be great. I know AJ's been bit with a little bit of the injury bug, but I think he's going to work through it. There's a lot of great matches that are going to be on this card. I have no doubt that it's going to be an entertaining show, as WrestleMania always is. And then you got, John Cena versus The Undertaker is what it looks like. That's an interesting one. I think Taker should have probably hung up the boots, but who am I to tell a Houstonian? Who am I to tell a Maine he can't go out there and put food on the table for his family?
Man, he saw the Rockets balling. He said the Rockets balling. I got to come out of retirement.
That's what he said. He said, man, the Astros won the championship, and now the Rockets are balling.
Got to come back. Undertaker! I'll be smack John Cena all over the place. Take your ass back to Nickelodeon. What's that? The award show they just had. Take your ass back there.
Hey, Brad, is it just me, or do it seem like Cena promos are a little like heelish towards Taker? Like he's trying to make Taker a heel a little bit. Are you saying?
I think he's trying. I think his. I don't know if they're heel. I think that he's I think what he's trying to do is come across as he's trying to motivate the dead man into coming out of retirement to face him. You know, almost like he's telling him, "Don't cross that line. Don't cross that line. You're not going to cross the line.
But I
You're
mean,
a bitch if you don't cross the line."
yeah, he's calling him a coward and everything. It's like, damn, you trying to make him take a look super weak right now.
Now, people are saying because Kid Rock's going into the Hall of Fame
I
this
think
year,
Badass Taker could be on
that
the
we
right.
might see American Badass Taker, which I
here
would
for
like.
I'm here for it.
Me
Yes.
too.
I'm
Yes.
here for the motorcycle ride.
Yes.
You won't hear yes and here. Come on down.
Just drop that dead man walking on that sound, and that's all I need. That's all.
That's what I'm
Dead
saying.
man walking. That's all I need, and I'm good.
Like I was telling Brad, I'm a little disappointed that Miz versus Finn versus Seth is not a ladder match. If it was any match that could have been thrown into a ladder match, that should have been the one. Just bodies flying everywhere. But I'm also disappointed that they don't even have the Money in the Bank anymore. So that's just it just takes away from the flavor of it all.
But overall, it's a strong card, man, and you're gonna have different matches and stuff like that to come up. I know a lot of folks are gonna be excited on the hype train about the whole Ronda Rousey match and stuff like that too. For me, I just want it to be good all the way around.
Don't you think?
You saw she was on first take today.
I never really had too much faith in Ronda as it pertains to her coming to the WWE anyway. So I mean, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, her acting is not good enough to. I just don't think her storyline is going to be good enough because she's not good enough of an actress to really just sell me on any of the storylines that they're probably going to involve her in.
It's like
she makes Ken Shamrock look like an Oscar winner.
Oh my God.
Well, here's the thing though. Is like people like a Ronda Rousey they don't need to be the best talker, just like a Brock Lesnar or a Ken Shamrock, but more so of a.
Did we lose him?
Oh no!
Oh no, we lost him. Or he muted his mic.
Mute your mic.
Oh,
hey Brad.
He was about to. Brad's out there. We lost him. Brad. You remember that commercial? What's that? The insurance commercial? Brad got in an accident.
Oh man, he was about to drop some signs.
He was gonna drop some knowledge out here, but let's keep it rolling.
No, I feel him on that. Yeah, you really can't build
when
up.
When it comes to those folks that aren't the best of talkers in the world, because I think that one of the things that WWE did that was a genius move was immediately tagging Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. That way he didn't have to talk. You had a world-class microphone artist that was there to speak on his behalf. I think that it's one of those things that worked with him. You can't really do that for everybody. At some point, somebody's going to have to come through and show some kind of mic skills. But I mean, it's those things that develop over time with some. Some catch it, some don't. I really can't see Ronda getting too much stronger as a talker or as far as her mic skills go. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
They're gonna be trying to ask her. They're gonna try to sell her, I guess, quote unquote, what she has left as star power and try to create storylines for her to make it interesting.
Whatever the buzz she got left, they're gonna.
Well, she was dry on Fast and the Furious. I was like, Jesus, this girl's crazy. She is
they
terrible.
Didn't need her to talk at all on there though. They used her for exactly what they wanted to. She was just a tough girl that gave them a great fight scene. That was it. I didn't need her to talk in there. Just fight and get beat up. That's it.
Yep. Close your mouth and just die.
Yeah, so I just hope she put on a decent show. I just hope she don't break Stephanie on because she's been working super stiff, and these little segments they've been having her doing, like those kick flips and these arm bars. Like, man, Ronda, don't get up in there and hurt Stephanie.
Hey, man, she was out there on First Take today, hyping up the match.
Yes.
Yada yada yada.
Giving Golic hell.
Too bad we lost Brad. I wanted to see his take.
I can't wait to see my boys on WrestleMania finally getting their shine in. Shouts out one time for them day one boys, them Usos.
Oh, them Usos gonna do their thing. They've been holding it down for the past.
Man, I'm so happy to see them finally get some WrestleMania time, man. It's long overdue. They've been one of my favorite tag team groups for like the last 5-6 years. They've come such a long way. A la The Rock going from, like they said, wearing the Fruity Pebbles Skittles outfits with face paint and stuff like that to kind of getting more into stuff that's more comfortable for them, that's more believable and stuff that they can really work and put a lot of passion into, man. I think that they're underrated overall,
Yes.
in my opinion, as a tag team. And I think that they're going to really, really have a coming out party at this WrestleMania.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a show, man. It's gonna be a hell of a show. My man, anything else y'all got for the people before we start the rest?
NFL, man. Are we gonna talk about a little NFL right quick?
I was about to say, how dare
How
you?
dare
sir?
you?
Listen to all this-
Are we
I had to
over our
listen to
time?
this Rockets homerism. I had to listen to all this homerism with the Rockets, and I ain't even get to no pigskin.
Man, what you got for me? I mean,
Hey, let's get-
Sue.
We can talk on it real quick. Which one we want? What we gonna shoot off? What story we want to shoot off right quick?
I mean, you got Sue going to the Rams that, I mean, might put them slightly ahead of the Eagles as far as pecking order in the
I
NFC
agree.
at this point. That's a wicked pickup to get. And I mean, it doesn't look like they're done trying to make moves.
That Odell.
You got Odell possibly getting shopped around, although the owner said that he wants him to remain a Giant. But they're not going to be
Lies.
stupid at the end of the day. They're going to listen to offers. If somebody comes up and they offer you another top 10 pick for Odell Beckham in addition to the spot that you already got, oh yeah, don't take that, homeboy. Don't take that.
Let me ask you a
Run with it all
question.
day.
The Browns. If you were the Browns, would you offer one of your draft picks and like give you like a Corey Coleman or something like that to kind of entice? Nope, you wouldn't. Okay.
You
Shut
keep
If
that
I'm
down
the
real quick.
Browns, I'm not offering. If I'm the Browns, I'm not offering a first round pick in any combination to Odell Beckham because although you know the product that you have, he already has red flags as far as an injury history. And if I can go through and say get a Darno at 1, let the chips keep falling the way that they are, and bounce back and still get Barkley at 4, then I'm good. There's no reason for
that's
me to go through and do that. And I can take those additional pieces that I have because I know the people that are working in that front office as a Packers fan. There's
Exactly.
nothing to say. And I said this a few podcasts ago. I fully expect Cleveland to draft 3 players in the first round. I expect them to trade back up into the first round to get another player. They're going to find another piece that they're going to want to get, whether it be another old lineman, whether it be a DB or a safety prospect. They're going to trade back in to the bottom end of the first round, and it may actually end up being somebody like a Lorenzo Carter from Georgia or Rashad Evans from Alabama to kind of shore up that linebacker help. They're going to make 3 picks in the first round.
I can see. Yeah, they definitely gonna trade up for whatever they need, whoever on their
And
draft.
you got to
list.
get rid of a lot of them picks. You can't use all of those picks and draft players because you can't pay everybody. So you use it as bargaining chips.
Yeah.
And if you can throw a couple of those out of there to trade back up into the first round, a la the way that the Packers did back in 05, 06 to get Clay Matthews.
Mhm.
I mean, do it.
No, I think they're gonna do
They're
that.
they're literally playing Madden right now, like on PS4.
Whoa.
They're literally playing a video game right now.
Them and the Rams both, man. That defense is gonna be
Rams gotta-
legit.
They trying to win. They trying to win over LA, especially when you're trying to put
Man,
$5 billion.
They ain't trying. They ain't trying.
They
It's a
are.
done deal at this point.
Cooper, come on, Cooper Cup, ball this year.
Chargers might as well just go back to San Diego and just try to make things
Man,
Hey, you watch how you talk about Phillip.
right.
Philip needs to be texting the mayor of San Diego like, "Hey, big head, what y'all
Hey,
been
what's
doing?
going
How
on?
y'all doing?"
You need any
What y'all
company
been
tonight?
doing?
You want any company tonight?
Ty,
No,
You know I'm just playing.
I was just in the area. I was just in the area. You know what I'm saying? I was just checking up on you, seeing how things is going. Y'all good? You know? Y'all want some company?
Oh, we're gonna talk
You know?
about I guess next week we're gonna talk about Bob McNair and his foolishness, and I guess we can talk about the catch rule. Oh, I don't want to speak on that this podcast. There's been too much positivity this podcast, so we're gonna keep it moving. God, get rid of throw him away.
Man, I wish they just catch him on the scandal right quick. Somebody need to go ahead and
And I
Go ahead
see
and boot
that
him.
Colin Kaepernick was working out in Houston this
yeah.
past weekend, but they signed Brandon Whedon to back up Deshaun.
Bah.
job,
What's
Texas.
Brandon Whedon show? Nothing. Brandon ain't done nothing.
I ain't got nothing to say about signing Brandon Whedon, bro. All I know is they're gonna draft a quarterback, and I hope this gonna fit this system. That's all I know. And it's stupid that they just starting to even do that fucking scheme. Like, you supposed to be drafting quarterbacks. They drafted quarterbacks in Green Bay. They drafted quarterbacks in New England. It don't matter who you have. Get you a quarterback that's going to be a primary backup that knows how to run the system. Brandon Whedon ain't got shit for you.
At all. Nothing.
But it's just whatever.
Bum with the Browns, bum with the Cowboys,
It's
bum
what-
with the Texans. Get rid of them.
I don't know, bro. It's just so damn.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about Johnny Manziel next week too. We'll talk about him too.
And his CFL tour is about to happen. Yeah, he
Oh yeah.
still ain't getting an NFL. He going straight to the Canadian League.
See ya.
Off top, man. But man, what? Hold on, Wilson. What your Packers been up to, man? I know they signed Muhammad Wilkerson. Who else did they end up signing?
They signed Mo Wilkerson to a 1 year, basically prove it deal. They signed Jimmy Graham to a 3 year deal that they can get out of after the first year. In addition to it's been a reunion and a homecoming. One of my personal favorites, Tramon Williams, just re-signed a 2 year deal.
Great signing.
Yeah, a good guy in the locker room, a good guy overall. He was another guy that really didn't want to leave, but yeah, he had to go secure the bag, and I'm not mad at him.
30 million. They gave him a nice little check, man.
Ooh, he secured that.
Cleveland paid him. Oh yes, Cleveland paid him. He's coming back on a 2 year deal. He's coming back on a 2 year deal, man, to go provide some leadership in that locker room, kind of get the young guys together and stuff like that, man. Tramon Williams, as far as Packer history goes, man, is one of the best success stories that I can think of, man. You're talking about a kid that literally went undrafted, man, and was a starting corner for the Super Bowl winning team in 2010. And literally, if it wasn't for Tramon Williams in key plays against both Philadelphia in the first round, sorry, Griff, and against Atlanta and against Atlanta in the second round, Packers would have never made it to the Super Bowl that year. I mean, he had 2 pick sixes in that playoffs. I mean, he played out of his mind defense. He really, really evolved. He brought himself from a guy that was on the fringe, free agent, signed, off the street type guy to being a Pro Bowler, really being a strong player. And I think that that's going to be something that's welcome in that scheme for Mike Pettin, and as well as like leading the young guys that they have at DB and the guys that they're going to add at DB in the future. But I really love it. He's one of my favorite Packers of all time.
There you go. Mr. Secure the bag.
Are you still crossing those fingers for Roquan Smith in the first round?
For me, I think that it's almost a lock right now, especially with their inability to actually get a veteran corner in free agency. I think it's almost a guarantee that the Packers are going to draft a cornerback in the first round. I had high hopes for perhaps getting a Derwin James, so we can just kind of mix it up, be a little exotic. But if they would have gotten more cornerback help, then I think that they could have gone that route. But I think right now it's either going to be a Josh Jackson or a Zaire Alexander. I like Denzel Ward, but I don't think that he'll be available anywhere near 14. But one guy that I really like that a lot of people are starting to really kind of key in now, good strong combine, good strong prospect, is Mike Hughes out of Central Florida. I think that he's a real possibility. He fits the scheme that Mike Pettin likes to run. He's a physical guy. He can play you on man. He can play you on zone. But it's a DB rich draft, and I think that that's one of the reasons why the Packers aren't really pressing the panic button on not being able to secure anybody in free agency. There's a ton of DBs that are available in this draft. There's going to be there's going to be some hidden gems that are going to get dug out in this draft at the DB spot and at the offensive tackle spot. For anybody that is going through and looking for O-line help, this is one of the best drafts.
We done talking about football.
Yeah, we done talking because the Texans ain't getting none of them. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Me bad-o.
They trash.
You already see from my draft night gonna be spent.
You're gonna be drunk. DeMarcus, where you at? We got a Fish and Grits episode to do. Y'all drunk.
Just depressed looking at Connor Williams.
Poor fella.
Jesus Christ. What got, man? Anything else y'all got for the folks, man? Oh, God. Stop fucking.
Nothing. Go watch Grownish. Go watch Empire and Star coming back tomorrow. What else? That's about it. Shout out to the Rockets. Keep on winning. Keep setting the bar high. That's it.
And y'all have a happy Easter. Enjoy y'all.
Oh dang, it is Easter. God damn.
Friday. April Fool.
Real quick, one last thing. I would be remiss if I didn't have my Uncle Buzz moment for just 1 second. Real short and sweet.
I'm here for it.
I want to take my time to give props to all of these young folks that went out and participated in the March for Our Lives. This gun violence. I applaud the effort that these young kids are doing by using their platforms, by using their voices and being creative enough, but strong enough to stand on their own too and voice their opinions about things that directly affect them. However, I will say that You have to be careful of agendas. You have to be careful about narratives and how they get perpetuated and stuff like that, because I find it amazing that all of these non-colored people are getting flown around on jets and stuff like that and being catered to and coddled about issues that have existed in black communities and inner cities for decades and decades. But if you decided to do that coming from an inner city standpoint, you wouldn't get the press coverage, you wouldn't get the Facebook accounts and the notoriety and the forums on public media to be able to do stuff like that. It's always an agenda at stake when it comes to something that people figure that they can either monetize or gain power on.
So they're peaceful protesting. Didn't Cap do the same thing? And you know, those same people that's
my thing. I mean, it's
them same people that
direction that it comes.
Go for it. I was about to say the same people that's knocking Cap about it.
Yeah, I mean, it just
praising the
depends on
student
the
for it.
direction that it comes from. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. I always thought that it was ultimately ironic in the fact that people got mad at Kaepernick for kneeling at the national anthem, and it's disrespectful to the flag and stuff like that. But that's the same exact motion that you do when you pray. So, I mean, okay, however you want to construe that, however you want to look at it, that's fine. But I mean, peaceful protests, you know, going through and taking out these public things, you know, going through, and they had a national walkout with these high schools and stuff like that. That had been something that generated from inner cities and stuff like that. Them kids would have probably got expelled.
Facts.
So there's always a narrative. There's always something that goes along with it. And I'm never going to take away from the spirit or the intent of what these young people are doing. That's why I congratulate them in the beginning. But people that aren't looking at it that way, people that don't have their best interests at heart, be careful of the narratives that they're bringing around, because they're doing a whole lot to really, really coddle and hand feed these kids all of the access and all of the availability that they want. Well, there's been folks that have been screaming about fair treatment and being able to protect themselves from losing their lives simply by going to school and trying to get an education for years, but you never listen to them. You never put forth efforts like this for them. So, you know, it's that double-edged sword that we go with, but I didn't want to go through and not let that be acknowledged. You know, I love what the young kids are doing, but I need the young kids to understand, do it on your terms. Don't let these people turn around and bastardize or exploit what it is that you're trying to do, or the intent that you're trying to establish be taken out of context or swerved for political gain or for party leverage and all the other ridiculous shit that these people that are older than you that don't really give a shit about you are trying to do. That's all I got.
Oh yeah, I like the knowledge that you just dropped, son.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. Man, anything y'all got planned for the weekend?
Watching the Rockets play the Spurs. Enjoying some good Easter. Going down to the country on Friday, so it's gonna be a good day.
Yeah, gotta get my crawfish on this Friday for the Good Friday, you know. So
yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my Don Julio and call this a nice little week.
You know? Don
Julio,
Julio.
Let Julio come out, it's done. It's a wrap.
Oh yeah, you gonna be out of there. DeMarcus, you gonna be asleep. DeMarcus, you ain't even gonna make it Easter.
I may not.
Now, don't trip. We can't bail you out of jail until that Monday.
Oh yeah, we can't get you. We can't help you, son.
Have a little long 48 hours. It's all good.
Hey man, at least you'll be good and toasted up in that hole.
Man, what? Out of there. And man, as usual, y'all can always catch us on SoundCloud, on iTunes, catch us on the Facebook page, Fishing Grits for the Culture, melanatedilluminated.com/Fishing Grits. All the content is everywhere you need it, people. Go
Fishing
ahead,
Grits
listen.
281.
Like, share, enjoy it. You already know.
You know you want to listen. You know you want to listen.
Go ahead and push that button.
Push the button. Push the follow button.
Treat yourself.
Expand your mind. What I say,
secure the bag.
Broaden your horizons.
Oh
yeah.
I see what you did there.
I like how you did it. Last name plug. Okay.
I like that. Okay.
I wish I had a cool last name. Griffin. There's nothing impressive about that last name.
It sounds like a pickup line that he didn't use on a girl at the club.
He probably did. He probably did back in the day. He probably used it on his girl. That's how he secured her. He'd be like, "Hey, let me broaden your horizons, girl. Let me give you some of this D Smooth. Oh,
yeah.
Get up. Secure it.
Kobe
from deep, huh?
Shoot. Kurt, look. Look, Curry from the injury table. Shoot.
Man,
Okay.
from the injury room, that boy in the hot tub right now trying to soak that
As soon as I step in the building, I'm in range.
green light. Green light, no Gerald. No Gerald. But man, as for now, this has been Fish and Grits, and you guys have just been served.
Y'all enjoy.
Peace.